There we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to what actually shifted after the summit. So, we are busy behind the scenes preparing for the third annual 2026 Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women, which I co founded with Dr. Kimani. So, I'll just do a little intro to myself and then I'll pass it over to these two lovely ladies here. But I am Marissa Price, co founder of the Job Liberation Virtual Summit. I am a liberatory healer. My YouTube channel is Marissa Price Heals, providing a safe place for Black women to process trauma, to reclaim our authenticity after what we've experienced. And yeah, I'm so excited to chat with some of our past attendees today in this stream. And so I want to pass it over to Dr. Kamani to introduce herself.
Thank you, Marissa. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Kimani. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. My YouTube channel is Lifting as We Climb Consulting, where I come on every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, and 5 p.m. Pacific time, interviewing a different Black woman about her experiences in a toxic job, pivoting out, and I share resources as well. So I'm a toxic job survivor, but I love to say I'm a toxic job liberator for Black women. I'm the co-founder with Marissa Price of the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women. I'm going to pass it out to our outstanding moderator, Apryl.
Hey, it's Apryl. Yeah, so this is the third year that I have the true honor and privilege of being the moderator, MC. I think this year I saw host somewhere of the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women, and working with Dr. Kimani and Marissa on the YouTube streets. I am known as Positively Apryl. On my channel, we talk all things balance, boundaries, and the joy of putting ourselves first every single day. So yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to hear from some of the past attendees. Yeah, I love hearing other people's perspectives. So
Me too. Me too. Yes. Well, thank you so much. We have our first attendee who has come on and agreed to share her experience. And again, if you are a past attendee and you would like to join this stream live with us, just send an email to us, support@liftingasweclimbconsulting.com, and I will email you the link so that you can join us in real time. If you're interested in sharing how the summit has changed your life, helped you through a transition, helped you exit a toxic job, rebuild your confidence, we would love to hear from you in real time. So please send us an email here, support@liftingasweclimbconsulting.com for the link. And with that, I would love to introduce Narina. Hey, Narina.
Hi.
Hello.
So great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for
being here.
We're so grateful to have you. Yes. And so we wanted to ask if you would like to share the year that you attended the summit first, and then what was going on in your life at the time that you attended, if you would like to share.
I attended both of the summits that you folks put on. So the one last year and the year before that. So that would mean 2025 and 2024. What was the second question, Marissa? I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Just what was going on, if you don't mind sharing. What was going on in your life that made you want to attend?
Well, I learned about the Job Liberation Summit at Exodus Summit, and I was deeply impressed with both Dr. Kimani and Marissa because freedom is my strongest value, and for Black women to say we're about liberation and we want to liberate each other was very powerful to me. And I don't know about you, but I have never seen a Job Liberation Summit specifically for Black women. Oh yes, look at these ladies nodding. Is there one? You tell me, ladies. Anyone watching on YouTube? Exactly. This is the only one, and I thought it takes great courage to do something like this, and it also takes great work to do something, especially third year in a row. Congratulations, ladies. And so for me, I was in a toxic job at a law firm, and I was hired on to not just manage the front desk operations, but to be a paralegal as well. But I was not necessarily being paid for the front desk stuff, even though I excelled at it and made our office paperless. And I was really looking to branch out and to see where I could be my full, powerful self. And I saw that power in Marissa and Dr. Kimani and in the speakers that they lined up and the sessions that they had set up. And I was so impressed. One of the ladies in there, after a whole weekend of listening to powerful women talk about how they transitioned out and how there was space for me too to do that, I heard someone say, something I wish I knew before all of this is to take that leap of faith earlier. And so I would say that the Job Liberation Summit and community and hearing these incredible speakers and being with a bunch of people in the chat and knowing we're in this together, we're not alone in feeling the pet to threat scenario, that we can do something about it. And there are other people on the other side of that. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Ooh, that's powerful. As you said, like just knowing that we're not alone. It's just, yeah, and being in the summit room, both of us being toxic job survivors, Dr. Kimani and I, and realizing like how isolating that experience can be so often, to where you feel like you're the only one experiencing this in the world. That's what it feels like when you're in it. And so just to like hear from our speakers, like you said, the chat, just a source of encouragement as we're collectively in a space making our own freedom and liberation plans, whatever that looks like for you, because that's different for everyone. And you can just feel like the joy in the empowerment, right, in the virtual space. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes, and it's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And it's beautiful to hear that you have come to more than one summit and that you have found liberatory spaces in many spaces. So Exodus Summit, watching Marissa and I, and Apryl is also a toxic job survivor. So, when you think about the experiences of us as Black women, so many of us have toxic jobs, and you're right. There's no other job liberation virtual summit for Black women. And so when Marissa first approached me with the idea, I was like, that is very unique. I never seen something like that. And so, to see it grow in the way it has, and each summit is different. So in terms of the theme is different, the speakers are different, the energy is always great, but it's still a different flavor. And so I appreciate you sharing that. And, we talk about Pet to Threat. We're going to have the 3 Black women researchers here for Pet to Threat this year. So, so we're looking forward to it. And thank you so much.
Yeah. Do you mind if I ask a question really quick? So you've attended 2 summits. Can you just share with us what you feel like shifted? You mentioned that before you were working at a law firm, doing what everyone, you noticed we started nodding, working 2 and 3 jobs, for one paycheck, because you're able to do it. It's within your skill set. But can you just share with us, what do you feel shifted? What was a change? Again, if you don't mind sharing, that happened after the summit.
Yes, I launched my business after the summit. I had the courage after hearing these speakers and being around you ladies and seeing the folks in the chat, because the chat is a vibe, y'all. We go fast, we go hard. And so after all that was what allowed me to finally reach out to 2 other people who were doing something that I wanted to do similarly, but in my own niche. And before that, I had their contact information, but I was too scared to reach out to them because I knew that if I did, that means it would be real. And I started planning. I wrote in my planner in like pencil the names of my bosses and drafted out an email with my pencil of what I was going to say and how to keep it professional, because that's what the summit changed in me. Showing me you can do this. This is a leap of faith. Do the market research in advance. Ask these people what their perspectives are. Do what they have taught you at the Job Liberation Summit. So that was, that's what led me to really dig into my business niche and to launching it, getting my LLC, putting out marketing that I didn't even know I had in me. Those were some pretty big shifts. and knowing that there was a whole pool of women who were going to do the same thing.
You know, I know we're not going to hold you too long, but I just want to say that, you know, when you talk about like when you come to the summit, it gives you a sense of confidence because you're right. You're in a community with other Black women. And even though we're talking about painful things that have happened to us, we're also talking about how to pivot from that. So not to be stuck in that. And when you think about being in a toxic job, it often sucks so much out of you. And part of what it gets suck out of you is a sense of confidence, a sense of motivation, a sense of direction, like all those different things. But when you're in that safer place, you're able to say, wait a minute, there might be some options. And so then you start building up courage because you start seeing other Black women who look like you doing the thing. So yeah, so glad you shared that.
Power sees power. That's what makes this Job Liberation Summit so incredible. You can see I'm thoughtful like Marissa. I'm articulate like Dr. Kimani. I'm fun like Apryl. And they left their toxic jobs. I can do it too. So that it really inspired me. It's changed my family's life. It's changed my confidence level. Thank you so much to you ladies for what you do. I tell so many people about you. I'm like, Marissa and Dr. Kimani are doing the Job Liberation Summit. This is the link. You go to this link and check it out.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And just one last question. If someone is unsure maybe about attending the summit, any advice or guidance that you would like to share now that you've attended for 2 years at this point?
Yes, be ready for the chat to move quickly. And that the chat is just as much is just as resourceful as the session, and so it's really good to go live or to attend the session live because you see suggestions or perspectives you might not otherwise see in the chat. And then if you're in the tier where you can watch the sessions back at another time just at your own pace, that's a great option too, so that it doesn't feel super packed in and you can take advantage of all of the gold that these ladies are getting. The other thing I would say too is it's really excellent to do research and strategy for yourself beforehand so you know what questions you want to bring to these talented women who are taking their time, who are giving their time to share gold nuggets with you. So for me, for example, I don't have a very flexible housing situation. I have to pay for my housing each month. And so it would have been really excellent before for me to know to ask that question for someone who is in a similar situation where business profits aren't always guaranteed. And so asking a seasoned business owner, how do you handle instability with finances when you have something that you have to pay each month or have people depending on you? So do the research in advance so that you're prepared, and also know that you're going to meet amazing people. If you're nervous about that or if you're not ready for that kind of success, it's okay too, to take your time and to own that because these women are real and they give it to you straight, no chaser. So that's what I would say.
Oh, thank you so much, Narina. Thank you just for being a wonderful community member. Narina was part of my Black Women Freelancers group as well. And so thank you for all that you pour in to us and contribute back to us in reciprocity.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing this incredible healing work. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh my goodness. Y'all.
That was beautiful.
Whoa.
That was so beautiful. Thank you again to Narina.
Yes.
Again, this is a live stream of us inviting past summit attendees to join us live to share their experiences. And so if you have attended the summit in the past and you'd like to join us, you can send us an email, support@liftingasweclimbconsulting.com. I will email you the link to join us here live. If you'd like to share your experience, you don't have to be on camera. But we would just love to hear how the summit has impacted you and the things that you have gained from attending. Okay. And so looks like we have someone else.
I'm so excited.
You know, it just feels like we put so much planning into the summit, like it's so much work to plan for it. But when we hear back about the impact, it's like you're pouring into us. And it makes it feel like it's worthwhile what we're doing. So thank you.
Absolutely.
And look, this time next week, we will
Next
be
week.
like at the kickoff listening to the scholar. Dr. Kimani, you touched on that about pet threat. Can you talk about that briefly and who we're going to have at that panel?
Absolutely, absolutely. So Pets a Threat, if you're not familiar with it, Pets a Threat is was created by 3 Black women researchers, Dr. Juanita Johnson-Bailey, Dr. Keisha Thomas, Dr. Rosemary Phelps, and it's when you come into the workplace or you're sought out in the workplace because of your outstanding abilities. They love you. You are brilliant. Oh my God, Apryl, you are saving this organization. Marissa, we couldn't make it without you. And then you become the pet. But then all of a sudden, you start outshining other people in the workplace. And then there's a shift in terms of how you're seen and treated as the threat. And many of us, so many of us have gone through Pets a Threat, but we didn't have a word for it. We didn't know what to describe it. It just felt like, wait a minute, what just happened? And I know when it happened to me, I was like, is this really happening? And I kept trying to prove my worth and all the nonsense. So now we know what it is. So now that we know what it is, we can recognize it and we can start making some alternative choices. So the 3 Black women researchers of Pets a Threat will be at the kickoff of the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women. So the kickoff next Friday. So we're so excited to have them there. This is the first time ever we've had them at the summit, and we're going to have a fireside chat with them.
That's exciting.
Yes. So exciting that that's our kickoff event. Because I have to say, if people don't know the backstory, I was in Dr. Kimani's chat on her YouTube channel. And that's where I first heard the term from Pets a Threat that she had mentioned when I was in a toxic job. And just continuing to spiral and question what was happening, because I was excelling on the outside. And so no one could really see what was happening inside. I was experiencing workplace bullying. So many different things. Again, the second job being tacked on without the pay, which happens to so many of us. This is a theme for Black women at work. And so to have a name for what I was going through helped me externalize it so that I could begin to rebuild my self-confidence and self-worth after that experience.
Right. And when you were able to name our experience, it's validating and it helps us so we don't start going down this cycle, which I say is we're trying to make something sane that's not sane. So you're trying to make logical sense out of something that's not logical. So of course, I'm going to uplift my dear friend Colette Elizabeth, where she talks about in the workplace, we're often around people who are in leadership positions who are incompetent, insecure, and immature. Okay. I had the trifecta of a number of them. And in your workplace, you may experience that too. So when you experience Pets a Threat and you have these characteristics of these people in leadership positions, it's not going to make logical sense. And I'm saying this as a toxic job survivor, but also as a therapist and as a coach who's worked with so many Black women. And that is often, they come in, you all come in, I'm high performing. I do this, I do extra. I got, excellent job evaluations. It doesn't make sense. Why would they be doing this? It's not going to make logical sense. I'm saying that to you so you don't keep trying to get clarification from people who are going to lie in your face. They're not going to tell you the truth. Okay. And then the other thing is, not only they're going to lie in your face, but they are the true imposters because you make them look bad. Okay. Ooh. So your brilliance makes them look bad. So they're the true imposters. So they will never come out and say to you, oh, well, I treated you that way because you made me look bad.
Right.
They'll never say
I was mediocre.
Yeah.
And I know so-and-so, that's how I got this job. That's how I got this promotion. They'll never say that to you. So we have to recognize things for what they are. And as Ian Van Zant said, call a thing a thing. Okay. So when we see it, recognize it, clock it, and say, okay, now I'm going to start exit planning. Don't tell people the job, though. Just start doing your exit. Come to the summit and do your exit.
Learn how to do it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
so it looks like I'm sorry. That were you going to say something, Apryl?
Oh, no, I was just like, okay, well, thank you.
Okay. I think we have another past attendee here. So I'll bring her up on stage. Oni, can you hear us okay?
Hi, yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you don't mind sharing, can you share what year of the summit you attended? And then anything you want to share about what was happening at the time that made you decide to register and attend?
Ladies, please forgive me. I think I jumped the gun. This will be my first year attending, so I think I just was
Oh,
excited to provide a
oh,
testimony.
no.
That's
You're
okay.
fine. Thank you. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. First of all, I love the enthusiasm. I love that,
Yeah.
right? And number two, I'm wondering if you can share with us, if you're okay with this, what motivated you to register to come to the summit?
Yes, Dr. Kimani, it's so nice to meet each of you guys. Um, yes, first, I just want to sing your praises. I'm so thankful for your content and just your YouTube channel. It's really been a blessing. I also want to give Miss Marissa her flowers as well. She has really been an anchor and a blessing to me lately. I did lose my job last month, and prior to that, I was going through so much. I didn't realize it, but like my body was like giving me these signals with increased insomnia. I wouldn't want to go to sleep, and if I would wake up, my eyes would be tight. It was just wild. I had chronic headaches, all that stuff. So I was just searching for an answer, and I'm just so thankful I came across your content. It was really an anchor because it's like if this experience is unrelatable to the average person, you sound crazy, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like, suck it up, get over it. A job is a job. And then you kind of get even more reduced to a level of like feeling feeling problematic, right? Which inherently is, you know, has ties to slavery, right? And the aspect of dominating another group for personal gain, and how the emotions and the response and reactions to that suppressed demographic kind of go unheard. So yes, I'm just thankful for this opportunity. Thank you, ladies.
Of course. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, I guess I want to ask if there's anyone who is hesitant about attending. Because these different things that we experience, it can feel isolating, right? And I can also feel like this sense of fear that we often encounter with people who share that they're scared to attend, which is why we have the privacy considerations in place. So no summit attendees are on camera at all. And you'll also have the option to change your name within the summit platform to attend completely anonymously. But anything you want to share, maybe if someone is on the fence about joining us this year and why they should attend.
Oh, you're on mute if you're talking. I'm not sure. Oh. Okay, well.
Oh, okay. Well, I do
Oni,
want to comment. Oh, is she talking?
let me see.
Okay.
Oni, can you hear us okay?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay, yes.
There you go.
You're off mute.
You're on mute again.
Yes. Did you ask me something? I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, any advice if someone is considering joining but maybe a little bit fearful around purchasing a ticket? If you've
Sure.
experienced any of that fear, and if so, how you navigated it?
Great question. Yes, ma'am. I would just like to encourage potential attendees to take that chance. There's always that like impending fear that like for me, I was like, the higher up that I was under was a Black woman too. I didn't know who she knew. So that did kind of impose some level of fear. But I was like, man, my health is more important than any hierarchical status or anything like that, So I just started to become a bit more brave in the fact that I need these answers. I need this wonderful community to remind me that you're sane, you're not irrational, you're not hypersensitive, your body is alarming you. Those are some signals, right? So I would just encourage somebody to be brave and to stand up for yourself, even when you may not have that support around you just yet.
Oh, I love that. Let me ask you this before we hop off. Why did I start whispering and lean forward? I don't know why I do that. I don't know why I do that. And I do it in real life too.
That's your signature.
Let me ask you this. What is one thing, and I know this may be a tough question, but what is one thing that you are looking forward to experiencing or taking away from the summit this year?
Great question. I'm looking forward to an infilling of my cup that's really been depleted for a long time. I think that's the most exciting anticipation for me, because in spite of like what's happening in the country, and I'm sure across the world as well, it kind of calls people to come together and to commune. So these spaces are really idealistic because it is a special call, right? Like a bat signal, like, it's okay, come over here, you'll be safe. So yes.
Yes. That's the perfect way to put it. A bat signal.
Yes.
I've never heard it mentioned like that, but
I
that's
love
true.
that. I love that.
Mhm.
You know what? It's almost like, as you were talking, I was thinking about how you were saying that you were in this toxic job, and unfortunately, it was another Black woman who was involved. And, we hear this theme a lot about all skin folk and kinfolk. And, I want to commend you for recognizing how important it was for you to take care of your health. And also that you recognize I need some resources too. And so when you're in the summit, when you're in the community, you are in a protected space. So when you're in a toxic job, you were not at all in a safe space. And then for many of us in toxic jobs, but even in this country or even in the world as Black women, we walk around feeling very unprotected. And I just think about Malcolm X, the most unprotected person in the world, in the United States, is a Black woman. And so when we think about the summit is a space for us, by us, and it's a safe, protected space so we can channel our inner Harriet and get out of these like Pearl said, these raggedy, toxic jobs. And I also want to say to you that I also appreciate your vulnerability with telling us that you had recently lost a job, because we've seen so many Black women disproportionately laid off. And so this year's summit is very different from all the other years, because this year we said, okay, we're going to focus on not only helping Black women leave toxic jobs, but also Black women who've been pushed out of the labor market. So I'm so glad that you share that, and that, again, that you recognize the importance of really prioritizing your health, and you recognize the healing power of community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing.
All right. We'll see you at the summit. Let us know
Yes.
you're there.
Yes.
In the chat. Oh, look. It's too early for me to start crying. All right. Like, when she talked about her cup needing to be filled, it's interesting. And this is what happens when, I don't use this term often, but when you are aligned, because what did we talk about during our meeting earlier today when I said, like, you all are the first to do this. Like, this doesn't exist, So we had that from our first summit testimonial, the attendee who attended twice. And then we have her saying that her cup needs to be filled. And, our cups runneth over. Like we are delirious, almost equal parts delirious and flying high when we do our debrief, after the summit days, and we chat a little bit, and we are flying high. It's tough. We are vibrating. It's tough to even go to sleep. Just this emotions. And I'm so grateful. I told you all this earlier, but I'm so grateful to you all. Just even hearing some of our sisters, just these two. I already know I'm gonna be crying. I'm trying to hold it together now. Okay, I may mess around, start crying when I see all the people in the chat. But anyway, let me stop. Okay, I'm gonna get started.
No, girl. You know what? I want to say, no, don't ever apologize for that, right? Because, I love many things about you, but one of the things I love about you is your transparency and your authenticity, and how you build a space or create a space of such healing and community. And so when I think about many of the Black women coming into this space, that they're in need of healing. They're in depletion of just fighting all the time. And
Yeah.
so it's like we're past empty. Like we're like
Yeah.
on fumes. And I met a woman today who actually was like, I was meeting her for something else. She's like, oh, I bought my ticket to the summit. I was like, oh, great. And she was saying that for so many years, she has always prioritized other people over herself. And this was like first time in many years where she said, this is about me, and really thinking about what do I need for myself? Because many times we're like, oh, I'll take care of me later. I got to take care of this. I got to take care of my child. I got to take care of this. And we're not saying don't do those things. We're saying both and, not either or. And I think as Black women, we've often been in positions of either or. We prioritize other people over ourselves, but we're like, no more, no more.
Yeah. No
No
mas.
more. No mas. Absolutely. We do have some data that we can share. So if you completed the pre-summit survey and you've already purchased your ticket, thank you so much, because this is helping us understand how our attendees are coming in to the summit this year. And so just want to share some themes, right? So what best describes how you've been feeling about work or career lately? So the most responses we had was an uncertain or in between. So a lot of us are dealing with uncertainty, kind of not really sure of the next steps that are ahead. As we've seen, over 600,000 Black women have been pushed out in one way or another from the workforce over the past year and a few months. So we're truly dealing with a crisis, right, of huge proportion. So just to say that, and Dr. Kimani said this summit is so different this year. It feels so different. Because we're not just focusing on Black women in toxic jobs making exit plans and having the time, right, and space to kind of like plan what to do next, but for Black women who are experiencing like unexpected layoffs as well, which kind of changes things up tremendously. So anything that y'all want to share around like themes maybe from this slide or
Well,
the amount of
when you
layoffs?
said that, it made me think about one of our panels focuses on how to heal from a toxic job. So tomorrow I'm going to interview Dr. Pamela Buchanan, who is a Black woman medical doctor and one of the panelists for the summit. And she's going to share about her healing journey. And, I'm always asked, well, can you show me how to heal? Because I need to stay in this toxic job. And I've been very transparent with people that I can tell you short-term coping, but I can't tell you healing, because you cannot heal an environment that's still harming you. And so we have to be very clear that if we're in these work environments and they're toxic, or let's say we've left an environment and maybe it was jarring, it was difficult for us, it's important for us to go through a grieving process.
Yeah.
And so it might be like, what? Why would I go through a grieving process? Because that was a significant part of your life. And so we're going to talk again. So you're going to hear from 3 Black women talk about their experiences healing from a toxic job, because the healing starts after you leave. I'm still healing.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'll probably be healing for a long time, but I'm in a much better place. But the healing happens once you leave.
Yeah. I agree.
That's such a good point.
Yeah. In the real quick, I know when I've shared this, but I was so stressed in experiencing so many adverse health effects that me being at the raggedy toxic job actually put me into stress-induced premature menopause. So I'm postmenopausal. And a lot of those signs, and the doctors tell us, hey, you should work less. They say these things, but they don't really tell us some of these adverse health effects that could happen. Or like when we were talking on Stephanie's channel, week or two ago, Dr. Kimani and myself, I was talking about the nosebleeds, and Kimani, you have as well, the hormonal imbalances, the sudden onset of weight gain, the migraines, hair, shedding, high, just certain things that our bodies are like, but it really is good to, as you mentioned, put words, to put phrases, to put concepts and validation to a lot of the that we've been going through and feeling. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just say one thing. Okay. So, listen, so I know that like we're so busy, right? But we have to pay attention to changes in our baseline functioning. So, changes in our physical baseline functioning, changes in our psychological baseline functioning. So, when you start recognizing, wait a minute, like I'm gaining a lot of weight and I'm not eating any differently, or I can't really fall asleep. What's going on? Or I'm really sad all the time. I don't want to be bothered with other people. You have to really interrogate what is going on in your life that might be contributing to why you're feeling that way. And if you pause and you're honest with yourself, you will figure out what that is. And so sometimes you need to go to therapy or get support from family, friends, so that you're able to process what's going on with you. I would say family, friends, and therapy, because sometimes you need an objective person to process, and so you don't start self gaslighting yourself, and to really get that support, because it's traumatizing sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Deeply traumatizing. Yes,
Mhm,
absolutely.
mhm,
And we also have a number of sessions, right, focused on workplace trauma, healing
mhm,
from burnout. I'll
mhm,
be doing a session on liberation lives in the body, around somatic healing, because so
mhm.
many of the things that we ingest, because it's toxic what we're ingesting, and it lives within our literal cells. And so
Mhm.
to begin to like heal your body from what you've experienced is so important. And the body often gets overlooked in
Yeah,
healing spaces.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the body holds on to that toxicity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
many times we lie to ourselves and say, "Oh, well, I know the game. I know how to play the game. I know the key players. I know the devil. I know that devil." That, like we say, all these
Right.
things. I used to say it to myself, but that toxicity is going to impact us as poison. And the longer we stay there, the more it's going to impact us. That's why I am not going to tell Black women about this is how you heal in a toxic job, because number one, I don't believe you can. And number
Yeah.
two, I don't want to support anybody staying in any environment that's going to harm you. I want to support you, maybe short term coping, and then start making an exit plan to get out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So anything that y'all want to share around, I guess, themes that you've noticed from the pre-assessment survey that we sent out? Anything that has stood out to you?
We know as I mentioned during the meeting earlier today, our prep meetings that we do weekly. To me, the hope, the sense of hope that
Mhm.
women still have, because Black women, we are so amazing.
Yeah, we are.
So there is hope, but there is hope and expectation that they're going to have that direction, that they will find their people, that they will have some. What did one person said? Essentially, like, I know I can't go back to
Mm-hmm.
where to where I came from,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
but I need to know how to move forward. And
Yeah.
there were a lot of things that were echoed that makes it that you can see there's so much hope that
Mhm.
out there, and people they have the expectation, and they know, they have the confidence that they are going to get what they need from the summit.
Yeah, because when I think about where I was, and I think about, when Marissa and I first came together to talk about the summit, was we both had to figure things out on our own. We had to
Mm-hmm.
figure out how to get out this toxic job, how to replace our income, what we're going to do about it. We had to do this all on our own. And so both of us were like, we don't want other Black women to go through this. We don't want this to
Yeah.
happen. And so we had to just think about that. But when you think about that, and we think about the space that we have created, it is to help Black women so you don't have to do all that work. You don't
Yeah.
have to try to figure out on your own. You don't have to be on YouTube trying to search different videos, and on Google trying to find. And we were very mindful of the speakers that we chose. So these are Black women that we've selected to pour into you. Okay. So some of you may have had some negative experiences with some Black women. And sometimes that might make some people feel like, oh, I can't trust Black women. I don't want. I hope this is a reparative experience for you, that you are able to see Black women who have knowledge, pouring into you and uplifting you, which is my business, Lifting as We Climb, right? Because we're lifting together as a community. And when we think about what we're going through right now in the world, it's like things are beating us down, right? But guess what? As Black people, as Black women, we're like, you ain't gonna beat us down. We're not gonna beat us down. You know what I'm saying? Like we feel defeated or sometimes, or we feel, but you're not gonna beat us down. And so at the summit, and I think this is what you were speaking to, Prill, like at the summit, even though it's heavy material, sometimes you're like, oh my God, this job, da da da, or I got laid off. It is truly a spiritual experience.
Yeah.
It really is. Like
Yeah.
when you hear the speakers and you're around the other Black women and the chat and just a sisterhood in the chat, it really is a spiritual experience.
Yeah. And many of the speakers, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm trying to think, many of the speakers are also have experience working at some of these raggedy jobs.
Oh, absolutely.
Or working at places at minimum where they had to go, either because it was misaligned or it was some foolishness happening on the job.
Absolutely. All of our speakers know what it's like to work in a toxic job.
Yeah. And all Black women speakers. Yes. Wow. So much. Okay.
Oh, Marissa, are you able to scroll through the responses that people wrote?
I don't have those pulled up.
Oh,
I just have the charts.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we talked about it. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And to your point, we have 28 intentionally curated, right, speakers for this year to speak about a variety of topics, from healing from workplace trauma, online income streams, investment, retirement planning. There are so many. Dr. Danette will be doing a sound bowl meditation on the first day of the summit, Friday, which I'm really excited about, to kind of like reset our nervous systems before we're able to absorb this amount of information. And also like pace yourself, please. Like you don't have to attend every single session. With the standard pass, you get 1 week of replays. Premium pass, you get a year of replays. And the Liberation Accountability Circle, you get a year of replays as well. So something to consider if you need more time to digest the information. If it feels rushed, kind of like give yourself more time if you're able to. Do want to say that as well. We do have a recorded testimonial from Jay Lynn. Real quick, let me add that to the stage.
You also came to the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women. Can you share about what are some of the ways that participating in the summit, how did that help you pivot?
It was so monumental. When I talk about the community that I needed to make that transition, the Job Liberation Virtual Summit was a key component of that. I think that was actually the first of, well, I reached out to, and then I knew about the Job Liberation Summit. I think that was the next thing that I reached out to for like the how piece of it. And you had such amazing speakers that gave such tangible steps to work towards the goal of making that pivot. At that time when I attended, I was pivoting to a new role and I was pivoting out of the job that I had. But even just, hearing the tangible steps, but then also seeing them as those possibility models gave me that much more certainty in the step that I was taking. Still felt the fear. Like you just said, we still do it with the fear, but when you have the information and then you have the people that are showing you what they did and they're talking about their story and you're hearing aspects that sound similar to yourself, it just makes it less doubt and fear and just fear, but certainty. And so having that piece there was really helpful.
So that was a testimonial from Jay Lynn, who attended the summit last year. Anything you want to say about the fear? Because that is huge, right? To even like the fear of attending in the first place. And it's just, if you're in a toxic, traumatic work experience, right? Trying to like sort through, am I going to be safe to attend this event? Because your everyday environment is so deeply unsafe. So anything that you want to share around that?
I want to talk about the fear tied to finances, because that was a big part of the data that we looked at also, that a lot of the Black women talked about financial fears. And that was one of the main reasons that I was at that toxic job for so long was, oh my God, how am I going to replace my income? What other job am I going to get? I'm just going to stick it. I'm just going to try to make it. Right. And so I think a lot of us have these financial fears, right? So not only the fears of, is somebody going to find out I'm trying to leave, which is like that plantation mentality. We think about how enslavement has impacted us and still impacts us, but also a huge fear, which the data showed us, was the fear about finances and our benefits. So what about these good benefits, my health insurance, my retirement? What's going to happen? And I want to quote Stephanie Perry, who said, a job is not a good job if you are accessing your healthcare benefits because the job is making you sick. Okay. So I think it's important for us to think about and recognize that there's other ways for us to get health insurance. There's other ways for us to get retirement. There's other ways to get income than a job that's harming you, because not all jobs are toxic. So at the summit, this is for Black women if you want to go into a different job and or if you want to have your own business. It's not just, oh, everybody's having their own business, because some people don't want to have their own business, and having your own business is challenging. So one of our summit speakers, Mercedes, is going to talk about how you are able to kind of distinguish what you want to do, right, in terms of your pivot. But the fear is real. And so I don't want to discount that and say, oh, well, once you make a decision, you're not going to feel the fear. And then you're thinking, well, I made the decision, but I feel the fear. There's something wrong with me. No, the fear is going to be there. That's a normal response. So I want to call that out, that you are going to experience that. The hope is that by you coming to the summit, the fear will go down a little bit, because you are in a community, you're in a safe space. So I'm going to break down some biology for everybody, okay, in terms of why I think this might be helpful for you, is that when we think about what's going on around us, and just in terms of how we function as people, that when we perceive information, our brain interprets, is this a safe situation? Is it dangerous? What do you need to do? Like immediately, right? So our amygdala really registers that in our brain. And it's like fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Okay. So freeze is, I'm just going to stay here and hope that nothing happens. Fawn is, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that everything's okay. And just think about, sometimes at your job, you might be like, I'm just going to put my head down. I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to be very nice to everybody and hope that nothing happens. But that's not going to protect you. Not going to protect you. Okay. So many of us are in survival mode right now. Okay. We see what's happening with Black women. We're like, oh my God, I got to stay put. But again, staying put is not going to save you. So just think about all the Black women who've lost jobs. Many times they didn't even know they were going to lose their job. So that is not going to save you. What we're talking about is coming to the summit, get an exit plan. So no matter what happens, you have an exit plan or a pivot plan, okay? So by coming to the summit, you're in a safe environment with other Black women, so you can turn down that survival brain and you can access your prefrontal cortex, so you can plan, you can organize, you can judge, okay? So the fear, right? We want to call out the fear, yes, okay? But we also want to provide a safe environment for you to turn down the survival brain in the summit, so that you can access your prefrontal cortex and you can really plan, organize, and judge based upon when you want to leave or when you want to pivot. Nobody is saying to you, you come to the Job Liberation Summit and you got to leave, or you got to do this, or this is based upon your plan. We just want to give you the information. We just want to give you the information so you can decide what you want to do and when you want to do it.
Yeah. And tools and resources. I know when when you mentioned that we had to, or you both had to figure out everything on your own. I did too. I left before, look, hold on. I left before leaving raggedy toxic jobs was a thing, was cool. I left in 2018, and there was so much that I did in secrecy, because I did not have anyone in my world who, during that time where I was so raw and so vulnerable and so impressionable, that I knew that, and I was also ashamed, and just feeling as if like I was just floating with nothing to tether me, and coming from an environment that was so binary and polarized that I didn't have options. When you talk about the fear I had the fear of failure, the fear of embarrassment, the fear of what if, the fear of unknown. I was
Right.
feeling fear and didn't even have like I couldn't have told you what I was fearful of because I didn't have the words. There was so much confusion and so much so many voices. Not them type of voices, okay, but so much. Like I replay things, I
Yeah.
replay conversations. That's how my brain naturally works.
Mhm.
And there were so many, almost like so many tracks, recordings that were just playing over and over and over.
Mhm.
Conversations that I've had. Did I send this? When I sent, talking about the what did I do? What
Mhm.
what could I have done better? What can I do
Mhm.
next time? What
Mhm.
can I do to have them, finally accept me and just to take some of the pressure off.
Yeah.
There, so again, that fear, we have no idea what we're afraid of. We just know that like this, like we're scared
Yeah.
and
A lot of them.
in a place that we don't feel safe. And
Yeah.
that is one of the many things that I love about the summit. And we talk about the safety. For me, it is emotional safety. Do I feel
Mhm.
as if I belong? Because like I've always been the odd, like the odd one out in high school, even in college. I mean, I was a teen mom, so really when I got to college, but in high school, I never really felt like I fit in, even within my family. So you
Mhm.
get into the office and you don't fit in because you are not supposed to be there as a woman, and definitely as a Black woman.
Mhm.
We are like, these spaces are not, they don't consider us. And so
Mhm.
we really feel as if we're working towards something, not just the carrot, the dangling of the bonuses and promotion, and not under the threat of the infamous the annual review or the assessment or things like that. But the safety that is important is just to where, as you said, Dr. Kamani, you can turn off
Yeah.
part of your brain. At least if you can't turn it off, because realistically, I wouldn't have been able to
Put it
turn it
down.
off, but I can at least, okay, let me give this a chance. Let me at least be able to have some room in my
Mhm.
mind to take my foot off the gas, to allow some
Mhm.
things to be released, to be able to even not even absorb, just to be able to breathe when I'm in
Mhm.
that environment,
Mhm.
So I personally, like, well, I'll be there with my notebook, and that's what I say. That's one of the things that I love about being the MC and the moderator is that I get to attend for free because I'm up there taking copious notes. But if anything that I have said sounds like you, just know that when we talk about that room to breathe and the emotional safety, or even if you don't put one thing in the chat, that chat is, she mentioned, what did she say? It's a vibe in the chat. Like
Yeah.
the chat, just reading will help you know that you're not alone and will give you some sense of safety and security. So I just wanted
Yeah.
to say that.
Yeah. It's like you're being validated by hundreds of Black women who are like,
Yeah.
me too, me too, me too, me too. And
Yes.
when you think about just having a space for us to really feel like we could take the mask off, because when
Hmm.
we go to jobs, we're often masked up because we don't want people to know how we really feel because they're trying to come at us. And so we can take the mask off, we can fully breathe, we can like fully exhale, we could just fully be ourselves without trying to code switch or
Yes.
whatever we got to do, in certain environments. And so it's just a very different way of being. It's a very different way of being.
And it's fun. Look, you
Mhm.
ready to
It's so
look. You know I'm
fun.
gonna be cutting up. I can't.
Yeah, yeah.
They egg me on.
It's fun. And
Yeah.
when I think about like the title, I think sometimes people are like, what do you mean? Like, you don't want us to make money? No. What we're saying to you is we don't want you to, number one, attach your identity to any job. Okay, so that's liberating your mind. So a lot of the summit deals with practical knowledge, okay, tools, resources, but also your mindset. So we're trying to liberate you from that mindset, that slavery mindset that you define yourself in terms of a job title.
Yeah, you're
No.
out.
Okay. The other thing is that we're trying to liberate you from the belief that that job is the only place where you can make money. It's not. Okay. So when we're saying to you about exit planning and making plans, nobody's telling nobody to just up and leave a job. Nobody's saying that. Okay.
Right.
So if you're hearing that, sis, if you're hearing that, that's your fear response. That's your fear response, and you're trying to reject what is coming to you because you're scared. Okay. Nobody is saying that. What we're saying to you is the importance of exit planning. The other thing I want to say is, as you are in either a toxic job or you've been pushed out of a job or whatever, be mindful of your circle, because your circle has a big influence on you. Okay. So the summit is a space where you are uplifted by everybody here. Okay. But sometimes in our personal lives, we have people who are projecting things on us that is not supportive. But that is not what you're going to experience in the summit. And actually, we've had people like buddy up at the summit, like become accountability partners and all that other kind of stuff.
Yeah. And Shalini, and you can put whatever name you can put. What did we do the one year? I think it was the first year that people were putting after Alicia Renice's session, that people were putting pictures of themselves as like little girls. Yeah. And baby pictures. Oh, that's what it was. Treat yourself as you would a baby. Look, we already know. Let's not do that again. Let's not go down that road. But people were putting baby pictures and changing their names to just be funny things. So yeah, it is the nature of the topics, the nature of really what is driving most of us there is heavy. But there is so much joy because the three absolutely amazing Black women that you see before you right now, all of the amazing Black women speakers that we're having, we on the other side of this thing. That's why there is it is automatic joy activated, simply because all of us, like, we are, what did Tyra say? We are rooting for you, but it's the thing, like we are on the other side of this thing. And it doesn't mean, like Dr. Kimani said, there is healing to still occur. There's times when something's going to pop up that you're like, ooh, but there's muscle memory. Like if the first time that you have to do this is going to be the most difficult, the hardest. And you are, already making the first step by even watching this. If you got this part of the video, hey, or if you're even considering, you clicked on the link, you've gone to the page, that is the first step. Like at minimum, just saying that some of this is landing with me. And then to attend the summit, that's a huge step in and of itself. And you don't have to be, for my fellow former type A+++ overachiever personalities, don't come up out of there with a notebook. Like, I'm going to do A, and I'm going to do from this session, and I'm going to do from that. Like, you don't have to do anything. Allow this to be one of the few times in your life, and for many of us, the first times in our lives, that we are simply allowed to just be. Show up and listen, to participate or not, to put our real name or to put our, whatever names we want to put, to laugh and, find things entertaining, to have our interest piqued or not. Like, you don't have to do anything. You can simply be. Being a Black woman at this summit who is taking that step is enough. And we don't hear that. We don't hear that a lot, that we are enough. That you don't have to be, like, where you are right now is not where you'll always be. Yeah. We all start somewhere, and you can simply be. Simply come and simply be. Oh, okay, see? That's what I say, type A.
For at least to many of us.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
got, look, my personality got extra credit, so that's why I'm A plus plus plus.
I do see a question. So let me read it here. Will the summit address concerns like weathering, invisibility, and hypervisibility? So yes, and anything that y'all would like to share on what comes up to me, and I do have the landing page up that I can share here too.
Mhm.
So let me share that. But what comes up immediately is the From Pet to Threat panel, which is our kickoff session
Mhm.
on Friday, May 1st,
Mhm.
which will discuss like those feelings of both hypervisibility and invisibility
Mhm.
that we experience in the workplace.
Mhm.
So anything else that y'all want to share as I kind of go through
Yeah,
the
I think
schedule?
that's going to be touched upon through many of the speakers as they talk
Mhm.
about the experiences of being in a toxic workplace, because it does have that impact. So when I think about the presentations about burnout or about healing from a toxic job, that's going to be weaved within the summit. It's not going to be just a separate session just on that. It's going to be weaved throughout as you hear summit speakers talk about the experiences of being in a toxic job.
Yeah, and also how they used to show up. I mean, we can't help but when we're talking about this, period, but definitely throughout the summit, you will hear your story echoed
Mhm.
over and over again.
Mhm.
And they also weave in some ways that they stop doing that. And I just mean, like, even if we're talking about moving from full-time employment to contract work, you know, like how we heard earlier, I am doing 15 jobs for a half a paycheck. Half of what, as I say, Tristan from Colorado makes
Yeah.
the mediocre,
Mediocre.
mediocre, mediocre. Hold on,
Mediocre.
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 Look, I realized I didn't eat today. See, you know, I start cutting up when I don't eat. But you know, just the ways that they started taking their foot off the gas and realized they
Mhm.
need to pace themselves.
Mhm.
So you mentioned that is a theme that, as Dr. Kimani said, is weaved throughout. So there is no like, this is how you stop doing the most on your job. It
Mhm.
will be, this is how I stopped doing the most. And you'll
Mhm.
be able to extrapolate just from people's stories and in your note taking, some ways that are going to resonate and land with you, some things that you could, you know, potentially benefit from as well.
Absolutely. And I delayed a response. I wanted to say something about the responses of the surveys where so many Black women indicated the concern about finances and
Mhm.
how that was part of our planning too. So for our bonus session, so I know Marissa's going to go over the different ticket tiers, but that is why for our premium pass, that we have the 3 bonus sessions that specifically deal with finances. Because when your finances are in order, that gives you a greater degree of independence and being able to say, I'm going to do this because I got my money straight. So with
Mhm.
the premium pass, you get those 3 bonus sessions was all about finances.
Mhm. Yeah, and so the premium pass gives you access, and I'm on the landing page right now, to the bonus health insurance and retirement account planning workshop led by Dr. O'Shea, Wednesday, May 6th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Wealth is Resistance, the Black Woman's Emergency Fund and Investment Blueprint, led by Samira, on Thursday, May 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then From Lack to Legacy, a step-by-step investment plan for Black women ready to build a life of freedom, led by Sandra, From Lack to Legacy, Wednesday, June 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. And these are on Zoom webinar too. So the same with the summit, no attendees will be on camera. You'll also have the option to change your name within Zoom webinar if you want to attend anonymously. And so that's something to consider too if you do need additional support with navigating the fear around finances and making your strategy. Something to check out is the Premium Pass, which also gives you a year of replays instead of 1 week.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else that's coming up?
Besides, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. You know
Well,
We
what?
do
I'm
have the
excited.
trailer.
I'm
Uh-huh.
excited because of what I know is going to happen. Like, I'm excited for other people. I'm excited for myself, but I'm also excited because I know that this is truly going to be changing lives, just like it has in prior years. But this year, something feels different. You all already have more registrants than you've had before. I don't know. There's just been a shift that's been happening. And this year, it feels different. So I'm excited. Okay. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Apryl. I did also want to mention the Liberation Accountability Circle, which we just introduced this year, and we have 15 spots remaining. So if you do need additional support throughout the next year to meet with Dr. Kimani and I to help you make your strategy or your income plan, we'll be having 6 accountability sessions on Zoom from May 2026 through March 2027. So that is an option to check out as well. And you'll also have the year of replays and those 3 bonus Zoom workshops as well.
And you'll be in a community with other Black women. So, we always share resources with each other and we support one another too. So you're getting coaching from us, but you're also getting support, additional support from other Black women in the group.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, I do have our trailer.
Oh, yeah.
To share. So let me stop sharing this.
Let me make sure
only Rocky Lamazzini.
Yes, got a shout out.
Like, oh.
Got to shout out Rushni Cope, aka Glamazzini, for creating this trailer for us, which speaks to some of the sessions that happened last year and then our session topics for this year as well. So let me go ahead and put that on the stage.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, hold on one second. I think I have so many tabs open. Hold up.
Do we have a session on decluttering? Decluttering our lives.
Okay, let's see. I think my computer is telling me, because I have so many files backstage, I'm going to try to take it off stage.
Okay.
And then put it back on and see what happens. And if not, let me see. I can try to play it from YouTube. So give me 1 second if y'all want to talk about something else. I'll try to pull it off.
Do you want me to see if I can pull it up?
Sure.
Okay.
Let me see about any questions here.
Yeah, if you are watching and you have any questions that we can answer, please feel free to put them in the chat. Thank you for joining us on this Friday evening as we go through some of the sessions, hear from past attendees. Thank you so much.
Dr. Kimani, what are you most looking forward to? I know I asked one of the attendees, but what are you most looking forward to? Oh, okay. Well, oh, everybody's busy over there. Let me see. Do I need to do an interpretive dance? Because I keep on
playing in our phases, aren't they?
Okay.
Oh, do we have it? Okay.
Yes, it's playing.
And now with this new administration,
toxic jobs don't just ignore your brilliance. They make you question whether it was ever really real.
How does stress show up for you physically? Brain fog, headache, feeling on edge.
Thinking about who you were before the workplace. Maybe you were bold, soft, curious, creative.
Leaving a toxic job is not just about emotion. You need to be strategic about it.
You get to tell your own story. You get to start all over if you want to. Toddlers don't know limitations. Allow your inner child to play and create the world that this world told you was unimportant.
to shift the way in which you think about how money is earned and moving from scarcity to abundance mindset.
I make money easily and effortlessly.
So again, we're open and signs are revealed to us. We need to pay attention to that and be courageous enough to follow up with that.
Make sure you read your company policy.
Where can we get $1,500 a month? If it's bringing in over $1,500 a month, then we are financially free.
My freedom is in the desire, and my freedom is in the action. If you are waiting for someone to give you something that they benefit from keeping from you, is not going to happen.
Can you view yourself as accomplished without a job that says you're accomplished?
But if you are talking about liberating yourself, you're going to have to be number one. You're going to have to be not selfish, but self-full. You're going to have to get familiar with the idea that you will no longer tolerate toxicity in any shape or any form in your life.
It looks like this summit is about jobs and work and money, but this summit is about your dreams. This summit is about your life, a life beyond your wildest dreams.
The 2026 Third Annual Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women happening online May 1st through the 3rd. Registration is open.
And Black women, we do not panic, we pivot.
Oh, I love being a Black woman. If I gotta come through this experience again, please, Lord above, make me a Black woman. I don't want to be anything but.
Yay.
That part.
Love that. Yes.
Exclamation, okay.
Yes. And thank you again to Rushni for this trailer. Amazing. Jessica says, come on, production.
I know that's right.
Yes. Love this trailer. Thank you so much. Thank you. And yeah, we are excited. I do want to mention we do have a limited number of sponsored tickets available as well. If cost is an issue, we know that for a lot of us, finances, right, especially during this time, are rough. So you can request a sponsored ticket to the summit through this Sunday, April 26th. And so I'm just putting the form in the chat here. Anything that y'all want to share as we're winding down? I lost my camera feed trying to put the video up. But anything that y'all want to share as we're winding down today?
Well, you talked about how to request sponsor tickets, but I was so impressed by what you shared today about a man who wanted to sponsor his partner to come, right? Can you share about that, Marissa?
Yeah, I don't know if it was his partner, but it was a woman in his life who he was looking to sponsor because, yeah, she needed the information. And so he reached out to us, to go about that. So if you do want to sponsor someone else to attend the summit, you can reach out to us, support@liftingasweclimbconsulting.com. And what we'll do is we'll send you a payment link for the ticket price, and then we'll send them the link to register. Taking the price off of the ticket, so they'll register for free. But you'll pay the payment link. Yeah, so that was amazing to see that today.
And he even wanted to get her the premium pass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, balling out. Look, as I mentioned, it is a good Mother's Day gift. It is a gift, an excellent gift too, because I was that one friend. So if you have that one friend that never goes anywhere anymore and she's always working, or if when you talk to her, it inevitably leads to work, or if you know all the people's names, and you be like, who was that? Such and such. She stays doing blah blah blah. If they know all of the characters on your job, go ahead and send her, at minimum, share the summit opportunity with her. And like I said, it's an excellent gift for Mother's Day, or a gift for any woman in your life who definitely needs to attend. And the summit is before, during, and after. It's not just, it is a full spectrum of resources.
And I want to circle back and ask you a question, Apryl. Again, delayed processing, maybe because I'm so tired. But I do want to also say, somebody made the suggestion, I don't know if it was one of you, I can't remember, about come with a friend. So not only you get a ticket, but encourage your friend to get a ticket, and you all can be accountability partners with each other, maybe over the course of the year with the exit planning. Okay. So maybe one of your friends, one of your girls, get a ticket with her, come to the summit. Maybe you can watch the summit together or whatever, but that could be your personal accountability partner too, right? So, Pearl, I want to circle back to something right quick that you said.
Look, I'm leaning in. Yeah.
Let's do that. So you said about the shame of leaving a job. Can we talk about that just a little bit? Because I think a lot of us can relate to that, but we don't name the shame. We don't name the shame. So can you talk a little bit about what was the shame you experienced and how did you work through that?
Yeah. So as some people may know, and I mentioned earlier, I was a teen mom. So I got pregnant at 16, had my son at 17, went off to college at 18. And they told me, if you keep this child, well, first of all, everyone wanted me to marry his dad. We're not doing that. But they said, if you keep this child, you're not going to be able to graduate from high school. So I had unbeknownst to me, on the other side of this thing, you get the words, you can see some of these things happening. But I was like motivated by people telling me what I couldn't do. Also, I got 3 college degrees. So forget the high school diploma. I got 3
overcompensate.
Right.
I'm going to show you.
I got all of these industry certifications and licenses. And, just if I can get licensed in, 5 states, I want to be licensed in all of these states. Just like I said, motivated by what people told me that I couldn't do. And I left out on med leave. And I felt ashamed as if I couldn't cut it. Because I used to motivate myself with a lot of negative self-speak. I know that now, and it has ranged. Like it used to be all the way beginning of insulting myself and things like that. And then in my 20s, my therapist started working with me on being a friend to myself and loving myself. But I didn't realize that saying things like, you've been through worse than this, or just saying certain things like that to motivate me, that's also negative self-speak. So
it's discounting your current experience.
Yeah. And I felt like I should be able to do this. Like how I mentioned, I'm not enough. There's something that is wrong with me or has failed with me. And I felt ashamed because people ask valid questions. Like the few people that I did share it with, they echoed the same questions that I had. Am I walking away from all of this? Like all of this education that I've had, all of this time and effort that I put in, am I walking away from this good job? Why would I do that? Not necessarily what would I do for finances, because I was in a financial position where I wasn't necessarily concerned about money in that moment, but what about the future? What was I going to do for my health insurance? What about my investment? Like all of these things are available if you are a contractor and if you are an entrepreneur business owner. There are things that exist. I pay less now for my insurance than I paid when I was on employer sponsored healthcare, because there's co-ops, there's different things that, as is going to be mentioned at the summit. But I felt ashamed because I didn't have answers to that. I didn't know what I was going to do. And if you ask me, why am I leaving? For me to say I'm leaving because of my something that's related to feelings. Oh my God, please. Like that. Like you can't cut it. I'm weak. I'm letting them get to me. I'm letting them run me out. So there were a lot of things that led me to feel shame and feel guilty, because there were so many people who helped me get to that point, and feeling as if I'm disappointing some people who believe in me, or I'm like, well, I got people looking at me. That's my voice on the inside of my head. Like my nieces are looking at me and people tell me like, oh, you're such an inspiration. But guess what? They're looking at you. My niece told me recently, hold on, let me get it together, because when she said that, I burst into tears. They call me Bubbles, like Auntie Bubbles. And she and she said, Auntie Bubbles, like basically telling me that me watching her or her watching me and traveling the world and living free and having fun and, you know, aging backwards is an inspiration to her. And me telling her, you don't have to wait until your kids are grown. You don't have to wait until this, or even saying, how does that make you feel?
Mm-hmm.
You know, things that I wish someone would have asked me, just to to teach me how to acknowledge my feelings and surround myself with people who do ask me how do you feel about it? What do you think about it? What do you want? That I realized that they're still watching me, you know? So like I said, a lot of that guilt and the shame and the condemnation, the gaslighting, these things that these emotions that I was feeling within, like, you don't have to, like, you know, if I have this summit, like I would be signing up, keep it a buck, I would be signing up and being like, I'm gonna give these, I don't know these women like that, I'm gonna give them one chance. Like, this is it. And if this doesn't work, because I did that with so many other like conferences and different summits, typically listening to white women and white men. But if I would have had a space that was, first of all, as organized, as streamlined, because you already know, I would have said, I'm going to give this one chance. Like, because I know me, I would have given the summit one chance and that's it. And then I'm just going to do me because it's too overwhelming to think about stepping outside of the norm on my own. So I would have been putting a lot of weight behind this summit, and knowing me and knowing what is awaiting people at the summit, like, it would have been well worth it. It would have saved me so much angst, so many tears, so many like, okay, you are crazy. It would have saved me medication that and there's no wrong medication now, but just feeling as if I am going crazy.
Yeah.
And feeling as if I was so untethered, like that, like something needs to make sense in my life. And right now, very little, if any, is, you know? So hopefully that answers your question.
That more than answered my question. And first I want to say, Apryl, thank you for your vulnerability and for sharing that. And there were many things I related to. And, you know, not only the sense of, when we're in jobs, sometimes we stay longer because we're trying to prove something to ourselves based upon some family of origin issues or some other stuff, right? And so many times we're disconnected from that and we'll just stay there longer, trying to prove something or trying to heal something, but that's a wound that's back there, not at the job. And so sometimes we don't even recognize that. The other thing is, when we're holding on the shame, many times we're trying to figure out as Black women what we could do individually to make a situation better, when, number one, we didn't cause the problem many times, right? Now I'm not saying don't self-assess, everybody, okay? But many times we haven't created the problem. Maybe you're too brilliant or whatever, but I'm just saying, but many times we don't. It's a systemic issue, issue, right? But we take it on for our own responsibility. Like, I need to solve this problem. What can I do to solve the problem? Without recognizing I am in a toxic system. And that's a game changer. The other thing that really resonated with me was the statement that you said, because I can relate to this too. They're not going to run me out of here. They're not going to run me out of here. You know what? I'm not weak. What? Right? So it was kind of like this, like, you know, I'm going to fight you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, I'm not weak. And, you know, the thing about it is not literally fight you, but, you know, when I think about, like, you know, how I was raised, you know, I was raised by a legacy. I had, you know, my father too, but raised by a legacy of warrior women, Black women. Like, what? Like, you won't take a mess, you know, that kind of thing, right? So for me to walk away, what did that mean in relation to my legacy of warrior women? Was I not part of that? Because I didn't stay in, you know what I'm saying? Like, what did that mean? So I had to process that, right? But then the other part, and I hear from so many Black women, is I finally got to the point of I got to get out of here to save myself and save my family, right? But I hear from so many Black women this mentality: I'm going to fight them, I'm going to make them respect me. They're not going to run me out this good job. I'm going to prove something to them. And we get into this way of thinking. But the thing about it, which is so sad, and I really wish that we would understand, there's nothing you could, I think Alicia Renee said this, you cannot outwork oppression. You can't do it, right? So we're going to wear ourselves down trying to prove something to people. It doesn't matter what we do. They're just going to continue to exploit our labor. So they're going to benefit from us, and we're just going to wear ourselves down to the ground. And it's not worth it. The other thing that really resonated with me, Prill, was not only the part of like, I'm going to fight them. I had some dysfunctional way of like making it into like, okay, well, I'm Harriet Tubman at the job. So I made it into this whole dysfunctional thing. I'm Harriet Tubman at the job, and I'm gonna do da-da-da-da. And then other people at the job start calling me Harriet Tubman. So I'm like proud of this role of Harriet Tubman. How dysfunctional is that? How dysfunctional. And I just want us as Black women to think about what type of dysfunctional lies are we saying to ourselves to convince ourselves that we're doing the right thing, or we're doing something to make it through, or whatever. But it got to a point when I was like, no, because they're not letting me liberate. I can't do no Harriet Tubman here. I can't do that. I'm doing Harriet Tubman on my own. The other thing, Prill, that really resonated with me was, and I'm so glad I asked you this question, because I think that was, it was so rich what you shared. I just really appreciate it. But the part when you said about your niece and how she's watching you, and it got to a certain point, Prill, where I had to think about my children, and I thought, because I used to work for a school district, and I kept saying like, well, I'm going to fight. I'm going to stay here because I got to be an advocate for Black children and da-da-da. And I was like, what about my kids?
Yeah.
What
about your Black children?
I'm a shell of a person now when I come home, because I'm fighting these people all day, right? And so I had to think about, what am I as a mother modeling for my children? And I am very clear that I never want to model for them that you stay in an environment where people disrespect you, they demean you, they don't value you. And I don't ever want to model to them that you just stay someplace and that's the only place where you can make money. I don't want to ever model that for them. And so I had to think about that. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. And when my youngest son, when I was on a leave of absence, and he said, Mom, are you going to go back to that job? And I said, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. And he was like, Mom, please don't do it. Please don't go back to that job. Please don't go back. So we have to recognize that in a toxic job, that it's not just us that's impacted. Other people are watching. It might be our kids. It's other family members who are probably sick of hearing us talk about the job, our friends, sick of hearing us talk about the job. But there's so many things, and we have to recognize the shame is not ours to have. And I used to feel so shameful. And that's why on LinkedIn, if you follow me on LinkedIn, you may notice my posts have become out the box, okay? Because I feel like something has unleashed in me. Like, I've released the shame about the toxic job. Even though I've been on YouTube for years, but I feel like there's been something that has happened with me within the past year on LinkedIn where I'm like, let me tell you about this crazy stuff that happened at my job. And people are like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, because I used to be ashamed of that, which was weird. Because I'm like, I didn't do anything. But I did. I had some level of shame. But now I'm like, I'm going to tell you the whole thing. Now I got a whole list of stuff I'm going to post on LinkedIn about all the stuff they did. So I'm like, why was I holding on to the shame? Right? But I'm so glad you brought up the issue of shame, Pearl. I'm so glad. I think a lot of us are holding on to some degree of shame that it's not ours to have. We didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, well.
But yes, I'm trying to think if there are any other questions that we can answer. This has been beautiful. So thank you both for sharing. This has made me reflect on my own experiences. And yeah, just to know, like, I think there's this belief that it doesn't count if we don't do it alone. And the summit like really has the resources in one place for you to be able to be supported by other people while you're executing your strategy, whatever that looks like for you, because it looks different for every single person. But to know that you don't have to do it alone. Right. We're here to share and contribute, again, in reciprocity, because we've been through this ourselves, to give you that information for you to be able to learn from, so you don't have to start from scratch. What's the point of all of us starting from scratch if all of us have been through this journey, unfortunately, and we have the information to share?
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
I see a comment here. Thank you for sharing, Raven. Sometimes I feel like I can write a book about my workplace experience. I think nobody would believe what goes on.
It's so outrageous. I'm literally, when I post on LinkedIn, people are like, did that really happen? I'm like, it really did. And I have so many more stories, which is so crazy because I was in a mental health unit. And they're like, what? I'm like, yes, just wait. I'm going to share more. Okay.
Oof. Yes, ladies, this has been lovely. I do want to mention we have Summit merch too.
Oh, yeah.
So we have water bottles, Liberate Yourself, Dr. Kimani's t-shirt, #liberated.
Yes.
In the store, let me share the link to the store. It's also on the Summit landing page. If you see store at the top, but let me get the link here.
And wait. I gotta give credit. Wait, who designed the merch and everything?
Oh, yes.
That was me.
Oh, that was Maria.
Marissa.
Props, girl. Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Toot your own horn. Toot. Okay.
And I'll just say, like, putting the summit together has been so healing for me. It's helped me process what happened to me. And I think like hearing all of our stories that we've shared, seeing the threads that link our stories and how brilliant we are, again, has helped me like externalize what happened to me, that this was not about me. As you said, Dr. Kimani, this is a toxic system that we are operating in, battling oppression from multiple different angles as Black women.
Yeah. And even when I think about like, sometimes I still have like certain memories about the toxic job, whatever, right? And again, never wish that would have happened to me. Okay. Yet I have experienced post-traumatic growth as a result of that job. And I would have never met you all.
True.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Never.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I never would have had a YouTube channel. None of that stuff would have happened.
Wow. Me neither. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Being in community with other Black women.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I see. That liberation tea will be a great last day at work before I retire. Sure.
You're gonna be like, what does that mean? It means no, I'm not giving you my email address. No, we will not keep in contact. Bye.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, once again, the summit is happening next weekend already. It's been months of planning, strategizing, behind the scenes work. So to think it's only a week away is wild at this point. But yeah, it's happening May 1st to the 3rd. Online, again, privacy considerations are in place. So no attendees, absolutely no attendees will be on camera. You'll also have the option to change your name within the summit platform if you want to attend completely anonymously. We kick off Friday, May 1st, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then we have 2 full days starting 11:45 a.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday to 9 p.m. Eastern each day. So these are full days. Again, you do not have to attend every session. Please don't. That's a lot of information. With the standard pass, you have a week of replays to rewatch. Premium pass, Liberation Accountability Circle, you have a year to watch all the summit replays, take your notes, make your strategy. So just decide which pass is best for you this year. And then we also have a limited number of sponsored tickets available, and you can reach out to us via email as well. Anything else before we end the stream tonight?
I just want to say I appreciate both of you so much. And again, I wish none of this have ever happened. We had never been in toxic jobs. Yet I'm so thankful that part of this is that I've met you all and that we've created a space, a healing space for Black women to help liberate themselves.
Yes. Yes. And I do want to say we have over 300 Black women registered so far. So thank you to everyone who has already registered. We're excited for you to join us. We do have a PayPal option this year. I forgot to mention that, which has extended payment options. So check that out on the Summit landing page as well. And I think that's it. We're excited.
Oh, and we were featured in MSN also.
So
if you read the article where we were featured recently in MSN, you can check that out as well.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Thank y'all so much for being in the chat. Thank you to our past Summit attendee and our future Summit attendee in 1 week who attended and shared their perspectives live. Thank you. And if you're watching the replay, please comment. If anything resonated with you, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channels, Marissa Price Heals, Positively Apryl, Lifting as We Climb Consulting on YouTube. And with that, we will see y'all in a week if you plan to join us at the summit, but we won't see you because no attendees will be on camera. But the chat is live, as Narina said.
Exactly. And please share this video with at least 2 other Black women, okay? Yes. Because if you know a Black woman, more than likely she has had a history of toxic job and or she's been pushed out the job market. So please share this video with at least 2 other Black women.
Yes. All right, y'all. Hope y'all have a beautiful rest of your evening. And until next time, bye. Thank you.
Bye.